The year 2014 marked a turning point in Ukraine-Russia relations. Following a pro-Western revolution in Ukraine, Russia took decisive action. They annexed the Crimean Peninsula. This strategic region, home to a majority Russian population, became a focal point of international tension. Russia's move was condemned by many Western nations. They saw it as a violation of Ukraine's sovereignty. This annexation was a catalyst. It ignited a simmering conflict in eastern Ukraine. Pro-Russian separatists, with Moscow's backing, began to challenge Ukrainian control. The Donbas region, comprising Donetsk and Luhansk, became a battleground. A war of attrition ensued. It claimed thousands of lives and displaced countless civilians. The annexation of Crimea emboldened pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine. These groups, armed and supported by Russia, sought to break away from Ukraine. They aimed to establish independent republics aligned with Moscow. The Ukrainian government, however, was determined to maintain territorial integrity. Clashes between the Ukrainian military and separatist forces became increasingly frequent and violent. The conflict in eastern Ukraine became a proxy war. Russia denied direct military involvement. Yet it provided substantial support to the separatists. This included weaponry, training, and logistical assistance. The West accused Russia of fueling the conflict and undermining Ukraine's stability. Sanctions were imposed on Russia, but they did little to deter its support for the separatists. The world watched in disbelief on February 24, 2022. Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This marked a significant escalation of the conflict. Moscow claimed it was a special military operation to denazify and demilitarize Ukraine. These justifications were widely rejected as baseless by the international community. The invasion sent shockwaves across the globe. It was the largest military operation in Europe since World War II. Russian forces advanced on multiple fronts, targeting key cities and infrastructure. The Ukrainian people mounted a fierce resistance, defending their homeland with unwavering determination. The conflict in Ukraine has been marked by shifting front lines and evolving tactics. In recent months, the town of Velika Novosilka in the Donetsk region has emerged as a strategic flashpoint. Russian forces claim to have captured the town, though fighting continues. Control of this area holds significant importance. It could influence the trajectory of the conflict in the Donbas region. Drone warfare has become increasingly prevalent in the conflict. Both sides utilize unmanned aerial vehicles for reconnaissance, targeting, and propaganda purposes. Russia recently claimed to have intercepted dozens of Ukrainian drones in a single night. This highlights the growing importance of drone technology in modern warfare. Amidst the ongoing conflict, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly called for peace talks. He has expressed his desire for a negotiated settlement to end the bloodshed. Zelensky has also appealed for international support, urging world leaders to pressure Russia to cease hostilities. Zelensky's peace overtures have been met with skepticism from some quarters. Russia has indicated a willingness to engage in talks, but only under certain conditions. These conditions include Ukraine's neutrality and recognition of Russia's annexation of Crimea. Reaching a mutually acceptable agreement remains a significant challenge. Section 6, NATO's response: bolstering defenses, supplying aid. NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, has played a crucial role in supporting Ukraine. The alliance has bolstered its military presence in Eastern Europe. This is to deter potential Russian aggression against its members. NATO has also provided Ukraine with billions of dollars worth of military aid. This aid includes advanced weaponry such as Javelin anti-tank missiles and Stinger anti-aircraft systems. NATO has also provided training and logistical support to the Ukrainian armed forces. The alliance's support has been instrumental in bolstering Ukraine's defenses against Russian aggression. Section 7. A global effort: international support for Ukraine. The international community has largely condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Many countries have imposed sanctions on Russia, targeting its economy and key individuals. The United States, in particular, has provided substantial military and financial assistance to Ukraine. Beyond military aid, countries worldwide have provided humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. This includes medical supplies, food, and shelter for displaced civilians. The outpouring of support for Ukraine demonstrates global solidarity in the face of aggression. Section 8. Potential outcomes, uncertain futures. The outcome of the Ukraine-Russia war remains uncertain. The conflict has already had a profound impact on the region and the world. It has exacerbated geopolitical tensions, triggered a global energy crisis, and raised concerns about a wider conflict. One potential outcome is a protracted war of attrition. This would result in continued bloodshed and suffering. Another possibility is a negotiated settlement. However, reaching a lasting peace agreement that satisfies all parties will be extremely difficult. The future of Ukraine hangs in the balance. Section 9. What lies ahead? A call for reflection. The Ukraine-Russia war is a tragedy for all involved. It is a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the fragility of peace. As the world grapples with the implications of this war, it is essential to reflect on the lessons learned and the path forward. What do you think about the new developments in the Russia-Ukraine war? How do you see the conflict evolving? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates and analysis. Gap 3S, Section 10, Geopolitical Ripples, the wider impact. The Ukraine-Russia conflict has far-reaching geopolitical implications that extend beyond their borders. Neighboring countries, particularly in Eastern Europe, are on high alert, reassessing their own security measures and military readiness. Nations like Poland, Lithuania, and Estonia have ramped up defense spending and are actively seeking stronger ties with NATO. Expert opinions suggest that this conflict has also reignited discussions about the balance of power in the region. Dr. Elena Petrova, a geopolitical analyst, notes, "The Ukraine-Russia war has underscored the vulnerability of smaller nations in the face of aggressive neighbors. It has made the international community more aware of the need for collective security arrangements." On the global stage, the conflict has strained relations between Russia and Western countries, leading to new economic sanctions and a re-evaluation of diplomatic strategies. According to Professor Michael Thompson, this war is a pivotal moment for global geopolitics. It challenges the existing international order and forces countries to reconsider their alliances and foreign policies. The ripple effects of this conflict are felt even in distant regions, influencing global markets, energy supplies, and international trade. As the world watches closely, the need for a unified and strategic response becomes ever more critical. How will these geopolitical shifts shape the future? What role will international alliances play in restoring stability? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates and analysis. Gap 3S, Section 11, the humanitarian crisis unfolds. Beyond the geopolitical ramifications, the Ukraine-Russia conflict has precipitated a dire humanitarian crisis. Civilians find themselves caught in the crossfire, enduring hardships that few can imagine. Cities once bustling with life are now scenes of devastation, with homes, schools, and hospitals reduced to rubble. Gap 2S. According to the United Nations, millions have been displaced, both internally and as refugees in neighboring countries. Families are torn apart, forced to leave behind everything they know in search of safety. Amidst this turmoil, international aid organizations have mobilized to provide critical assistance. The Red Cross, UNHCR, and countless NGOs are working tirelessly to deliver food, medical supplies, and shelter to those in need. Gap 2S. Yet the scale of the crisis is overwhelming. Many areas remain inaccessible due to ongoing fighting, making it challenging to reach the most vulnerable. UNICEF reports that children are disproportionately affected, facing not only physical dangers but also the psychological trauma of war. Schools have been repurposed as shelters and education is disrupted, casting a shadow over the future of an entire generation. Gap 2S. In the face of such adversity, stories of resilience and solidarity emerge. Communities come together to support one another, and volunteers risk their lives to provide aid. International solidarity is also evident, with countries around the world contributing to relief efforts. Gap 2S. But the question remains, is it enough? How can the international community ensure that aid reaches those who need it most? What more can be done to alleviate the suffering of civilians caught in the conflict? Gap 2S. Reflect on these questions and share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe for more in-depth coverage and updates on this ongoing crisis. Section 12. The economic fallout. As the humanitarian crisis deepens, the economic consequences of the Ukraine-Russia conflict are becoming increasingly apparent. Sanctions imposed by Western nations have hit the Russian economy hard, leading to a devaluation of the ruble and a sharp decline in foreign investments. These measures aim to pressure the Russian government to cease hostilities, but they also have significant repercussions for ordinary Russian citizens. Gap 2S. Trade disruptions have further exacerbated the situation. Ukraine, known as the breadbasket of Europe, has seen its agricultural exports plummet due to the conflict, affecting global food supply chains. The war has also disrupted energy markets, leading to increased prices and uncertainty in Europe, which heavily relies on Russian natural gas. Gap 2S for Ukraine, the economic outlook is equally grim. Infrastructure damage, loss of industrial output, and the cost of military engagement have strained the national budget. International financial aid and loans provide some relief, but the long-term economic recovery remains uncertain. Gap 2S. Analysts predict that both countries will face prolonged economic challenges. Russia may turn to alternative markets and domestic production to mitigate the impact of sanctions, but this shift will take time. Ukraine, on the other hand, will need extensive rebuilding efforts and continued international support to stabilize its economy. Gap 2S. The global economy is not immune to these disruptions. Supply chain issues, increased energy prices, and market instability have ripple effects worldwide. Investors are wary and businesses are re-evaluating their strategies in light of the ongoing conflict. Gap 2S. What does the future hold for the economies of Ukraine and Russia? Can international efforts mitigate the economic damage and pave the way for recovery? Share your insights in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more detailed analyses and updates on this unfolding situation.